This year went so fast, didn't it? I mean, I blinked in January and suddenly it was December. But existential crisis aside, 2023 was an absolute belter for Doctor Who, with so many amazing moments to choose from. Let us know your highlights in the comments down below, and here are ours. I'm Ellie for Who Culture, and this is 10 greatest Doctor Who moments of 2023. Number 10, meeting the Meep. One of the most baffling things to come out of public filming for the 60th was a photo of a furry little creature strongly resembling comic strip character the Meep. As we now know, that's because Special 1 was an adaptation of The Star Beast, the strip in which Meep first appeared. Some had doubts about how convincing a live-action Meep would be, and it didn't help that the photo made it look like a giant snowball. Realised as an entirely practical or CG creation, the Meep could so easily have been a failure. But happily, the finished effect was a combination of both approaches, with a practical costume enhanced by computer-generated blinks and mouth movements, plus Miriam Margulies' magnificent voice performance. It's seriously impressive, nowhere more so than in the scene between the Meep and Rose in her shed. Not once do you look at the cuddly fella and think, well, that's just a person in a suit, or all that bit's CGI. Meep even manages to elicit sympathy with its cute puppy dog eyes. No mean feat for a ball of fluff. As ever, the final word should go to Donna, who is astounded by how real the Meep looks when she stumbles upon it, and you can't really argue with that. Number 9, my arms are too long. We'd been warned to expect something weird from Wild Blue Yonder, but no one quite knew what that would be. Even once the episode had begun, it wasn't immediately obvious what the production team had been referring to. Anyone watching for the first 20 minutes or so could have been forgiven for thinking, so what's so weird about this one? And then it all became clear. First, the Doctor and Donna split up. The Doctor goes to a blue room, leaving Donna in an orange one. Donna feels a bit cold. Then the Doctor comes back. But then we cut to the Doctor back in the blue room. What is this? A flashback or something more sinister? Then the Doctor feels a bit cold too, and Donna walks in, and we begin to sense that something is definitely very wrong here. It's not until that now iconic line is uttered that we understand the mavity of the situation. The Doctor and Donna's arms are too long. But how? And why? It's a masterful reveal, and the imagery of the Doctor and Donna with oversized limbs and stretchy mouths is unlike anything we've ever seen in Doctor Who. And the fact that said limbs were achieved entirely practically just makes them all the more eerie. Number 8, Gatwa meets Hartnell. With the specials reserved for Saturdays, the centerpiece of the 60th anniversary itself was the Daleks in colour, the first official Doctor Who colorization. It was a brilliant production in its own right, bringing black and white Who to life like never before. But for many, it was upstaged by the programme shown immediately afterwards, a repeat of 50th anniversary docudrama An Adventure in Space and Time. Now, when it was first broadcast in 2013, viewers were surprised to see Matt Smith appear for a cameo opposite David Bradley's William Hartnell as he prepares to film his regeneration. Reportedly, writer Mark Gatiss had always intended for this scene to be updated for future anniversaries, with Smith replaced by the Doctor of the Day. For the 60th anniversary, a brand new edit incorporating Ncuti Gatwa was created, allowing him to meet the man who started it all. It made what was already a moving moment all the more poignant, and in an instant created one of the defining images of the 60th anniversary. And top marks for not compositing the Doctor in front of the Tardis console this time. Number 7, the Goblin Song. The 15th Doctor made his full debut in the church on Ruby Road, the first Christmas special in 6 years. To mark the occasion, the production team decided to resurrect a tradition from Christmas past. The first 3 Doctor Who Christmas specials were accompanied by specially composed musical numbers, beginning with 2005's Song for 10 and continuing with Love Don't Roam and The Stowaway. All 3 songs featured in the episodes that they were made for, but only as background music or as part of the incidental score. They also weren't released as singles prior to broadcast, unlike 2023's contribution, The Goblin Song. It was an audacious bit of marketing, and you've got to give it to them for trying to make it Christmas #1. And brilliant and weird and dark though The Goblin Song is, there was more in the finished episode, a surprise extra verse sung by the Doctor and Ruby. Now, viewers might have wondered what they signed up for when Ncuti Gatwa suddenly broke into song, but it was absolutely a defining moment for his Doctor, perfectly capturing his playfulness and feel-good factor. There's only one thing left to say: release the extended version, please. Number 6, the launch of the Hooniverse. At the start of 2023, Russell T Davies stated that it was time for the next stage of Doctor Who, and in November, we finally found out what he meant. In a bit to put the show on par with Marvel, Star Wars, and Star Trek, the Doctor Who shared universe Hooniverse, or Hooniverse, was officially launched, accompanied by a snazzy new ident incorporating clips of Doctors and companions. It was incredible to see the show try something like this. But this wasn't just a rebrand for the sake of a rebrand. For the first time ever, Doctor Who's back catalogue was collected together under one roof, for UK viewers at least, with nearly every episode plus a host of spin-off content available to stream on BBC iPlayer. We were also treated to a new series in the form of Tales of the Tardis. These omnibus edits of classic series episodes reunited old Doctor and companion actors, many of whom hadn't appeared together for decades. Since then, even more content has been rolled out, from Talking Doctor Who and the 60th anniversary concert to the Daleks in Colour and Destination Skaro. You can even watch David Tennant read the CBeebies bedtime story. And like the best gifts, it keeps on giving, with the archive expanding all the time. If we've had all this in 2 months, then just think what the Hooniverse will look like this time next year. Number 5. Spice up your life. Neil Patrick Harris's turn as the Toymaker was easily one of the best things about the 60th. And though he didn't crop up in all 3 specials as some had hoped, the giggle was full of terrific Toymaker moments. From the hilariously dark puppet show to his chilling reunion with the Doctor. However, when it comes to the Toymaker's most iconic moment, there's really only one contender. Nobody could have predicted that we'd end up with a scene of the Toymaker dancing to the Spice Girls in Unit HQ, momentarily joined by Kate Stewart and Mel Bush no less. On paper, it sounds completely ridiculous, and yet, in execution, it just works. As Russell T Davies said in the Giggles commentary, all the best pop songs have a savagery to them. It's what made the I Can't Decide scene in Last of the Time Lords work so well, and what makes Spice Up Your Life so brilliant too. This is surely the most captivating musical sequence Doctor Who has ever had. The choreography, direction, and editing are on point, and the end result is truly terrifying. The Master's bop to Rasputin in The Power of the Doctor was good, but this was just something else. Number 4. The Doctor Donna Returns. Exciting as it was to have David Tennant and Catherine Tate back for the 60th, we knew it wasn't going to be business as usual for the Doctor and Donna. Donna's mind wipe meant that any conventional reunion was seemingly off the cards. But then, 2/3 of the way into their first adventure back together, something wonderful happens. And it begins with the Doctor reciting a sequence of words, ending with, what else? Binary, binary, binary. Russell T Davies' script, Rachel Talalay's direction, and Murray Gold's score all combine to make a moment that is stunning in its own right, but also utterly rewarding for long-time viewers. After 40 minutes of dancing around the elephant in the room, the Doctor and Donna are finally back. And then, just when it looks like the Doctor is about to lose her again, there's a beautiful twist that enables her to keep on living while doubling as a powerful piece of transgender representation. The word binary takes on a whole other significance. Everything comes together in one joyous, life-affirming moment. Just what Doctor Who does best. Number 3. A new Tardis is unveiled. New Tardis interiors are always massively hyped, but the latest control room took things to a new level, and rightly so. We'd been told that the new set was impossible and logic-defying. Even so, the on-screen reveal was spectacular. From our tantalizing first glimpse of the set in Camden, right through to the shots of the Doctor running around inside. It's a magical, seamless sequence that feels right at home in what is now a Disney Plus show. And it's not just size that this interior has going for it, nor all those round things. This is also the first accessible TARDIS ever, with sweeping slopes replacing stairs and steps. This TARDIS even has a ramp built into its exterior, and this is all just as it should be. After all, before the question of wheelchair accessibility even came into the equation, 70s production teams struggled to show K9 entering the TARDIS on screen. The ramp has always been a logical addition, even back then. In short, this is a spellbinding new TARDIS, and thankfully it's sticking around, so we'll be seeing a lot more of it in 2024. Number 2. The 14th Doctor bigenerates. From the beginning, the Doctor has regenerated from one incarnation into another. Then, for the first time ever, the outgoing Doctor was not replaced by their successor, but was able to keep existing alongside them. And it's been suggested that similar rules now apply to previous regenerations too. Russell T Davies has revealed that this is all part of a bigger plan to create a Doctorverse, whereby previous Doctors are all still out there and can return at the drop of a hat without the need to explain why they look older. From this perspective, bigeneration is the best birthday present the show could have hoped for. It's understandable why many have quibbles with the concept, but for us, the bigeneration scene itself is brilliant. Never before have outgoing and incoming Doctors been able to communicate like this, and the sequence of the 14th and 15th Doctors teaming up for a game of catch was great fun. It also allowed us to see much more of Ncuti Gatwa than a traditional regeneration scene would have allowed for, and without all the usual post-regeneration shenanigans. Instead, he's free to be his charming self. A fascinating, exciting way to introduce a new Doctor and to launch the next 60 years of Doctor Who. Number 1. Wilfs Farewell. One member of the noble clan was conspicuously absent from the Star Beast, and that was Donna's granddad, Wilf. We knew that Bernard Cribbins had filmed some material in Camden before his passing, but it wasn't clear whether he'd managed to tape all of his scenes in time. It was entirely possible that his performance had been left on the cutting room floor, as was the case for Howard Atfield before him. Thankfully, the Camden scene did make it to screen intact at the end of Wild Blue Yonder, and given Cribbins' passing, it was all the more poignant to see Wilf meet the Doctor again one last time. Though he was set to appear more prominently in The Giggle, he was instead represented by a sparingly used double who swiftly exits stage following the cliffhanger resolution. As it stands then, this is Wilf's final scene in the Hooniverse, and by accident rather than design, Cribbins' final screen performance. Wilf's reaction to seeing Ten's face again is beautiful, and for an anniversary all about celebrating the past, it's tough to think of a more defining moment. Doctor Who fans will never forget this scene. Farewell, old soldier. And that concludes Doctor Who 2023. But what really concluded 2023 was the Church on Ruby Road, so make sure that you go and check out our Ups and Downs review of that episode. In the meantime, I've been Ellie with Who Culture, and in the words of River Song herself, goodbye, sweeties.